but these are probably not the cards you're looking for. However, still a pretty interesting set nonetheless, especially with the Marvel cards now being really hot, especially those ones from the early 90s. This is a set that came out several years before that in 1984 and licensed by Marvel, but produced by a company called FTCC, Fantasy Trade Card Company in Rochester, New York. And I bought this actually back in 1984, 85 at a comic book store, I believe, in Boston on Newbury Street. And I think you also could have picked these up in wax packs back in the day, but probably hard to find. But these are Marvel Superheroes first issue comic covers. And I actually showed this set off, I think about 7 years ago in a very, very early episode of Friday Night Comics, but nobody watches my old videos. And back then I had not as many subscribers, and I don't think anybody goes back and watches stuff like that. So I figured I would run through them. They're really cool. And they're just that first issue covers of various popular Marvel comics. The Fantastic Four. Now, they're not in the best shape. I mean, when I say that, they're definitely not mint or gem. These have moved around quite a bit over the years. I had them in and out of plastic pages, things like that. In fact, my Spider-Man, which might be the best one, or one of the best ones, has a little bit of a surface wrinkle up here. I don't know if you could see that. You probably can't. So they're not really gradable. Well, anything is gradable, but I guess the question is it worth sending in a card to get graded if you're only going to get back like a PSA 5 or a 6? You definitely want to get like 8, 9, or 10. So anyway, we had the Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man #1. And I believe there was a follow-up set as well by the same company. And here's X-Men #1. And I want to say there's also a set dedicated to X-Men covers, but I'm not sure if it was by this FTCC company or somebody else. But I imagine these would, if they gem or even a PSA 9 would be, well, I guess in today's market, anything's possible. But this was a set you could have picked up all day long for like $20, $25. Probably not so much anymore. I have this book actually currently at CGC. Although they did sign for my package like almost over 2 weeks ago, and they still haven't received it in. So I'm a noob, and maybe that's just typical, and probably is. But when I go to my account on CGC, it shows that they haven't received anything from me. But I think they just haven't processed it there internally. Doctor Strange #1. I own this book also raw. Silver Surfer. Some of these books are pretty obscure. Kazar, The Savage, Captain Marvel, Defender. I own this book. CGC 8.0. Speaking of Friday Night Comics, I got a couple of things. I have one book in particular I'm waiting for that I ordered from Texas. It shipped out on the 11th, I think it was, and I'm still waiting for it. So depending on whether or not that arrives this week, I may not get to Friday Night Comics this Friday. I wanted to get it in last Friday, but again, USPS shipping has just been awful. I have this book as well. First appearance of Adam Warlock. Tomb of Dracula #1. But Tomb of Dracula #10 is the issue to have because it features the very first appearance of Blade, the Vampire Hunter. Combat Kelly. I have this one also. This was a popular book for a while when you had the Netflix series. And then I think Marvel just reacquired all the rights to these Netflix character series. So you might see more of Luke Cage in the future. Here's Defenders #1. I could have thought of a lot more covers to showcase in this set. Some of these I'm seeing, like Crypt of Shadows and The Monster of Frankenstein. Here's The Man-Thing. Marvel 2-in-1 #1. Again, these are all the very first issues of these respective titles. This next one's a big one, Giant Size X-Men. I do own this book also in an 8.0, being a Bronze Age. That was my target grade. It's gained a lot of traction. Honestly, all collectibles. I'm into baseball cards, and we all know what's going on with the sports card market. Comic books are no different. I mean, I got a couple of CGC books I'm planning to showcase in this episode when I can pull it together that are pretty significant, have had significant run-ups in the last year, not unlike certain baseball cards. But, I'm just kind of moving into something different. Here's the Inhumans #1. I own this. This was hot for about a minute until that TV series tanked, but there's some rumblings. Marvel's going to try to get these guys back into the cinematic universe, and maybe boost their popularity a little bit more. Iron Fist number 1. I think Iron Fist number 13 or 14 features the first Sabretooth. Howard the Duck. I own that one also raw. The Powers of Warlock. Black Goliath. Man Called Nova. There's Peter Parker. Miss Marvel. I bought this one probably at the height of her popularity in that movie release. I think I paid like $279 for the book and the CGC 9.0, and definitely it's come down a bit. I haven't checked lately, but last time I did check, it had come down a fair amount. Spider-Woman, she's getting a little more popular, I think. Machine Man, classic Jack Kirby artwork. I got a copy of this ungraded. This one, Devil Dinosaur, number 1. She-Hulk, Marvel series in the works, I believe, for the Disney Plus. The Moon Knight, same story. Marvel. Who was it? Oscar Isaacs, Poe Dameron of the recent Star Wars trilogy, is going to be playing Mark Spector, which this is really I guess you could say, the Marvel version of Batman, the Moon Knight. Dazzler is kind of a lame character. Red Wolf, Marvel fanfare. Here's the New Mutants, number 1. I like the New Mutants. Collected their comics in the early 80s. The Thing. The Alpha Flight have their first appearance. I believe it's X-Men, Uncanny X-Men number 122. Somewhere around there. Iron Man and the Submariner. Chamber of Darkness. Kazar and Doctor Doom. The Inhumans and the Black Widow. Werewolf by Night, number 1. But the one you want is number 32, featuring the very first appearance of the Moon Knight. That book is blown up. And then here's the checklist. So a really fun little card set. And right now, no attention's really being paid to it. But it is a Marvel. It's a Marvel licensed set. And then and FTC was the company. So here's the Fantastic Four, and on the back it just kind of like gives you a little blurb about the book and the team and like the story inside of it. So and this is probably one of the better ones. Nicely set, and unfortunately, again, there's a surface wrinkle, which I think means it would. If it wasn't there, this might be an 8, but I think with that wrinkle, it's like a 5. So anyhow, I thought it would be fun to share. There's all kinds of interest now, and people are looking to get their hands on anything collectible, it seems like, and the Marvel comic cards are no exception, and I thought I'd show this unique set here. And there was a follow-up set, I believe, and I believe also some X-Men dedicated sets, like I said earlier in the video. So anyway, thought I'd just go through this real quick. And again, Friday Night Comics, I promise I'm working on it, just waiting for that book to come from Texas, but I have some good stuff to show. Stay tuned for that, and of course, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you all later.